Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making shortcut homemade cinnamon rolls. Y'all, I have found the best shortcut for cinnamon rolls, and it is frozen bread dough. Now, wait a minute, don't turn me off. Hear me out. I've made cinnamon rolls from scratch for years, and it takes hours, if not half of a day to do. And this is every bit as good as your homemade scratch dough. Yep, believe me, it's true. Now, this comes frozen, and it only takes just a little bit to thaw it out. Usually, it'll thaw on your countertop in a couple of hours. But if I know that I'm going to make cinnamon rolls the night before, then I'll just put it on a plate, cover it with plastic wrap, frozen, and let it thaw in the refrigerator overnight. And that way I can put them together the next morning. Now I've floured my board and look at this gorgeous dough. Oh, y'all. I love the fact that there's no more proofing the yeast. There's no more measuring the ingredients. Like I said, for cinnamon rolls, this is the most tedious part. Everything else is a piece of cake or a piece of a cinnamon roll. Now, I'm just relaxing this dough a little bit, just getting it where it's going to work with me. I'm going to take this and roll it out. Now, this dough is going to make 12 cinnamon rolls. And I want to get this to where it's rolled out, I would say about a good 10 inches. 10 by 12 or 13 should be perfect. It does not have to be precise. Just look at it and think you're going to cut 12 slices out of this, and that'll give you a really good indication of where you want it to be. Now for one of my favorite parts, the filling. This is so easy, y'all. I'm telling you, once you try this recipe, I will be shocked if you tell me that you go back to making scratch-made cinnamon rolls. Now, I have a half of a stick of salted butter. That salted butter just gives it just the right amount of salt. You know, you should always add just a pinch of salt to your sweet items. And so this salted butter is my pinch of salt. And I'm spreading it all over. Now, I'm not worried about getting it to the ends, just all the way out, maybe about a ½ inch from each end. Now, I've measured out a ½ of a cup of granulated sugar. And to the granulated sugar, I'm also adding a ½ of a cup of dark brown sugar. And you can't have cinnamon rolls without cinnamon. And here is a tablespoon of ground cinnamon. Now, you can use a little bit more or a little bit less cinnamon if you'd like. But to me and Jimmy, this is the perfect amount. You know, this is not working very well for me. I am going to use a spoon and just blend this together. I really like the combination of the granulated sugar and the brown sugar. You can use light or dark brown. I am using the dark brown. I just like the flavor of it. And I also like the color of it for these cinnamon rolls. But the combination just gives it a little bit more depth of flavor. You're not just getting sweet and cinnamon, but you just got some great flavor there. Now, all of this is just going right in the middle, but you know it's not going to stay there. I'm going to spread this out, and look at this. It already smells so good. It's been so cold, and I just feel like a hot cinnamon roll and a cup of coffee will warm the bones. My husband thinks so too. Now I'm spreading this out right to the edges. I'm going to leave a little bit of the edge just like you would a pizza dough. All right, don't be intimidated by this next process, and that is making the actual rolls. Just take both ends and just lightly push them over, and then take your middle and lightly fold all of that over, and then you're going to start rolling. And roll from one side to the other. Just be patient. It's not difficult, but once you get that roll started, then you can start pushing it along. These were always my grandsons, Sean and Kurt's favorite thing. And I can remember many arguments about who got the most frosting. Oh, I made them when they were here this summer, and it sure brought back great memories. Now, this looks just right, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to pinch these ends together. Not tight, just enough to where it's going to keep all of this intact. And I want that seam to stay on the bottom. Now I'm going to take up this excess. There's not much, but a little bit came out, and it's not going to waste. I'm sprinkling it in the bottom of my pan, and this will caramelize a little bit. Yum. Now I'm going to show you how I cut these. Now, to get a really even cinnamon roll where they're all pretty much the same size, you want to cut right in the middle. Get you a good sharp knife. Cut in the middle again of each end. So you have your 4 pieces, and then you're going to make 3 cinnamon rolls from each piece. And there's how you get your 12. And just eyeball it. It's a lot easier to do it this way versus trying to get them all identical by slicing from one end to the other. Now, let's get these inside of our pan. Now, a lot of times I bake these in a 9 by 13 inch baking dish, but I love baking in a cast iron skillet when I can. And this necessarily isn't cast iron, it's ceramic, but anyway, you get my drift. And look at this. Y'all, isn't this beautiful? Now I'm going to take just that end and pinch it together. You've got to leave some room in the pan for rising. So I'm putting these about an inch apart. And we've got to give these time to rise. And as they rise, and of course, as they cook in the oven, they're going to get a whole lot bigger. They're going to triple in size easily. Will you look at this? Don't these look beautiful? Now, these need to sit covered for, let's say, an hour or until they double in size. And that usually takes about an hour. And I am going to cover these with some of this plastic wrap. And it's a cold day here in Dothan, Alabama. So it might take a little bit longer than an hour, but usually it doesn't. Sometimes to help these along a little bit, I'll preheat my oven to 200 before I start making these, and then turn my oven off and just let it stay a little bit warm, and it'll help these rise a little faster. So I'll see you back here in just a bit. These cinnamon rolls are ready to bake. This smells so good, and they're not even cooked yet. Now these have absolutely doubled in size, some more than others, and that's okay. Now I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and these are going to cook for about 20 minutes or until they get nice and golden brown. Y'all, I know my house is going to smell like cinnamon roll heaven. Ooh, y'all. I was right. My house smells like cinnamon roll heaven. It reminds me of those old days in the mall. Remember those days when we used to walk the mall and you could smell the cinnamon rolls and you had to go get one because you just couldn't take it anymore? That is how my house smells. Look at this. Oh, the butter and the sugar has caramelized on the bottom, and it made just like a caramel sauce. Y'all, so good. Now I've made some cream cheese frosting. I love cream cheese frosting on cinnamon rolls, and the recipe is in the description. It's super easy. Just cream cheese, butter, powdered sugar, and a little bit of vanilla. Now I want to put some of this on the top while they're nice and hot. I love it when the frosting just melts down into these cinnamon rolls. Jimmy is going to be so happy when he gets home. Now, which one do I want? They all look so good. But I think this one is calling my name. Ooh, look at that. See, just that little bit of caramel that's on the spoon. Ooh, that looks so good. Y'all, I'm excited. I've got my coffee brewing over there. That is so good. They're a little bit too hot to pick up with my fingers, so I'm sticking with my fork today. Here we go. Y'all, it does not get any better than this. The cinnamon rolls are light and fluffy, and I love how the butter and the sugar caramelized. It just gives it such a great flavor. Y'all, I hope that you'll try this recipe. It is not only delicious, but such a great shortcut and time saver. Who wants to spend hours in the kitchen making cinnamon rolls when you can take the shortcut route and make them like this? You're a blessing to me. Thanks so much for watching today. Make sure you're following me at Kathy's Southern Kitchen on Facebook and YouTube, and also check out my new website, kathyssouthernkitchen.com. I've got lots of great recipes on there. Well, now for that cup of coffee. And I've got one ready for Jimmy too. I'll see you next time. Bye.